Thank you, Mr. Speaker Pro Tem and Representative Rosenthal. I am honored that you selected me to share this day and this resolution with you. Sometimes, as Representative Rosenthal has made the point, the largest and most terrible events in history are best understood through the experiences of individual people in them. And I would just like to very briefly tell the story of two relatives, actually relatives of my wife, that illustrate a particular aspect of that story. First of all, to my wife's father, who was one of the fortunate ones, having escaped the Nazis twice. First as an infant, when his family had the foresight and the means to escape Germany as Hitler came to power. And then the second time as a young boy in Denmark, when he was smuggled out of the country in a false bottom boat to Sweden with many others in that community. And they were saved to a large extent because the community around them just refused to let that happen to their fellow citizens. Second is my wife's uncle, who as a 14-year-old was captured and spent 5 years in 6 different camps and bears a strength of spirit and the physical scars to prove it. When he returned home, he discovered that no one else in his family had survived. He was the only one. And they were victims, to a certain extent, of a community that turned a blind eye and that looked away and let that happen to their fellow citizens. In Israel, on this day, there is a moment when everything stops. The sirens sound, and people walking on the sidewalks stand still. The cars on the highway come to a stop, and everyone reflects. And Mr. Speaker Pro Tem, I would request that at this time we emulate that tradition and have a moment of silence.
The House will have a moment of silence.
Thank you, members.
Representative